Mm-hmm. 2 streams in 1 week. Yep, Ultimate Oreo, 2 streams. Bone fulfilled. Awesome. I'm sorry to say I haven't watched Cape Crusader past the first episode because I'm waiting for the right time to get Prime back. No, that's understandable. Eh, I won't. I'm probably not gonna go into deep spoilers like that because I think both these shows deserve a proper viewing. So I won't go. So I imagine not everyone's caught up on all of them. So you're fine tuned for thought. Uh, Trying to just get this blast out to people. What are we looking for? Get that one there. Put this here. Yeah, just get rid of that. Hmm. Hmm. I will say what's interesting to me when it comes to like Fairly Odd Parents, like before we even really get into any of the talks for it, like it's the fact that the show, like the franchise, very much started going under by like, let's see, it was like during the original run. Like once we got to, honestly, it kind of was going downhill by Poof. Like once we got to Poof, things started to dip significantly, and then we got to Sparky, and Chloe was just a nail in the coffin. And then, oh, did it get really rough when it switched to Riggs? Like, it's so crazy how the rigging is, because it's like it's not. It's like it could have worked. Like Fairly Odd Parents could have worked in a rig with a rig style, but I don't know, man. Like the way they did it, it just forgot basic philosophies of how Fairly Odd Parents was animated, and so it just didn't translate well. Fairly Fairly Odd Rigs, come on. But yeah, but then it's like that after the original run finally ended on such a sour note. We had those spin-offs. It was like Fairly Odder, which was like the most questionable idea I've seen, because I'm like, okay, so it's a live action, but you have Cosmo and Wanda animated, and then there's other characters who show up who are also still animated. From what I could tell, I didn't bother to watch it, but I looked at it and I'm like, this looks so confused. Like I don't know what it's trying to do, but I don't know. Ugh. And but then after and that show even got torn apart when it premiered. Like they like killed it off pretty quickly, and so getting to a new Wish, it's like it's amazing how much of a turnaround happened. Like everyone just kind of said, "Yeah, you got it right with this one. You got it right with a new Wish," because it just kind of took things back to basics, but wanted to push from there. It's like we're getting back to what made uh the original so good, but we're gonna push some boundaries to what the original would be able to do. Past what the original would be able to do. So I don't know. That's just fascinating. It was just always fascinating to me how people were able to pick up on that with this show and just say, yeah, no, I gotta tune in with this, including old fans. Like old fans, like straight up said, yeah, no, this is the shit. This is what I want. And I don't know. That's just amazing to me how it had it was just nice to see so much positive, like there was a lot of love being given to this show on Twitter. Like every time I saw people posting clips for it as like episodes would come out for because they would do like the bomb format of like an episode a day for a few weeks, which and that wasn't bad, but wasn't great neither. It's still a burn off. Like it's been a while since we've had that, yes, but it's a burn off. Like Amphibia, that almost got burned off because of that bomb format. Thankfully, it picked up and people loved it. But so to see this old trick come back with this, it's now a question mark of what's gonna happen with the Fairly Odd with this new Fairly Odd Parents. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, Nickelodeon is in a spot. Like they are. I don't know. At this point, it's like you exist. Like you have some things out here, but they feel so. You're just cruising. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna try to be too much of a dickhead on that front because I have to still admit, grown man Nickelodeon. It really doesn't matter. It's not trying to appeal, but it's just the way you see these things roll out, and you don't see as much hype about these things as you think there should be. It just becomes a little sad to see, you know. It's like these were like such technical entertainment giants in our heyday, and now it's like they don't even know they don't understand the word entertainment, you know. What was it? Even Mr. Inner, who was particularly skeptical as he always is, liked it. Yeah, I'll admit he's kind of been on an upturn. So I needed this energy for a new Jimmy Neutron product. That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, it still bugs me to this day that it's like they could continue Jimmy Neutron. Like they wanted to do a darker season, like final season, I think, which I was kind of interested in, and I think they could have genuinely pulled it off. I don't know, like because it can be done. Like if y'all remember Reboot, like that show definitely started off pretty silly, but it got dark. It was able to get serious, and it worked. So I think Jimmy Neutron could have pulled off the same thing. But I really wish we could get another Jimmy Neutron, honestly, just because it's like the last season, it's like it just stops. That's really all it is. It's like it just stops. There's no grand finale to send off the show. It's just, yep, we gave you some episodes and now we're done. Oh well. Like, come on, man. But I think if anything kills off the chances of second season, it's the parent corpse merger purgatory. Hey, so many. Yeah, all these mergers are really screwing up. Like if y'all saw Skydance, and let me go to the scene now. Yeah, if y'all saw Skydance or understand the whole merger between Paramount and Skydance, it's so gross because it's like they're sort of trying to get ahead of the fact that a bunch of people are going to get laid off because of the merger anyway, and they're just being preemptive and doing it now. And it's just like, okay, that's still doing the same thing, but just early. Like, so many people are now laid off. They shut down a whole studio, the studio that made the Knuckles series, which, yeah, that wasn't great. But they just shut that whole studio down, and now we just have nothing. I won't say that. It's like, and now it's like, what's going on? Like the Sonic franchise was doing great for y'all, but now it's like because they want to do this merger. I don't even. Everything's it just sucks. Like all so they can like make sure they find like $500 million or save $500 million before the merger happens. It's so gross. Ugh. Yeah, Big Nate was canned because of them prepping for it. Oh, I did not watch an episode of Big Nate, but it sucks that it like got killed off. Ugh. It sucked. What really sucks is the fact that it's like no one can build proper rapport with any shows nowadays. things come and go too fast, and by that point, it's like, mm, you can't. It's not too familiar with it. You have unless you give it multiple rewatches, it just kind of can fall out of your memory. And I don't know. I just gone are the days of the reruns. And I'm gonna be the one to say we screwed ourselves over when we were complaining about reruns. Like, like I think reruns are something that's just they're a necessary thing at the end of the day. I think reruns are just one of those things that are you need to be able to fill the space because you can't have just new all the time. That's when you end up getting too much like you don't allow for proper familiarity. Like with reruns, it really allows you to just get to understand the characters a bit more, or grow proper rapport with them. But you have too many cases of like it's just too many cases where they just keep canceling things too fast and nothing gets properly addressed. It just sucks. Ugh. Let me make sure this. Let me just make sure the chat goes for a minute. Okay. Just want to be sure that reruns keep things in your mind nowadays. I watch a show on streaming and forget about it after a month. Yeah. I'm to the point where most of the time I try to I have YouTube TV, and I honestly love using it because it's just I can just leave the TV on, and it on like a certain channel. I usually leave it on like FXX just for like all the like King of the Hill, Simpsons, and all that, or Comedy Central stuff, or maybe. And it's just nice to have that running in the background when while I'm working or so, or just having it on to just if I'm doing something else or something, and it's it's playing playing the hits. They play the old episodes that it's like, and even then in hell for if you're an essayist, then like if you're a video essayist, it gives you some inspiration because maybe a certain episode comes on, you're like, oh, why was that like that? It's just always fun to watch a rerun. Hell, I can even go weirdly enough to say it's even nice sometimes watching the commercials. Like instead of being able to just skip through them, it's like just having the commercials running feels nice. Just because it's like, yeah, what am I rushing through? It's just playing just fine, and it's a good episode, and there's some interesting products here and there. But the one problem with commercials is that they do affect shows. They absolutely keep taking the shows, like chunking the shows down. And it's annoying. It's so annoying, man. Because it's like, we lost the minute-long intros. Like, we completely lost that. And now theme songs can't be as strong nowadays. They kind of just come and go unless it's a really catchy jingle. Amphibia, that has a nice jingle to it. So that's why it's recognizable. Owl House is someone in the same boat, but it's like that they really got to push for that catchy jingle aspect to it, and it's like if it's like a minute long, it can marinate a lot better. There's more lyrics to really keep up with, and it doesn't feel as like, dang, that kind of came and went, Kind of wonder if Pluto TV on Tubi type experiences are the future of these. I mean, could you elaborate on that, Tune for Thought? On Tubi. Like I forgot Dragon Prince was a thing, and I apparently missed 2 seasons. I been fell off Dragon Prince. I've watched the first 3 seasons, and then they went on that long break because the world blew up. But Smooth was like, I gotta get out. I'm done. I was like, I just wanted the third. I only needed 3 seasons, and then they kept going, and I was like, I don't know if I want more. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll finish up, like I'll get back to it and watch those new seasons. But I don't know. I always felt like 3 seasons, everything. I got everything I needed, but there was more story to tell. There was a lot more, but I haven't revisited that show in so long, so a lot of names I've kind of forgotten. I think I remember Rayla, but that's about it. But that's because Twitter kind of reminds you of that. Uh, live streams acting like TV channels. Could be that could like cable really might be the future. Weirdly enough, like because it genuinely was the perfect model to be able to get stuff funded. You know, and streaming's learning that it's like, oh, there's a reason why we can't do subscription based TV because TV shows cost millions of dollars and subscriptions cap at a certain point. So you really have to limit the number of projects you put out there. But all these streaming services want to have a million different projects put out, and y'all don't got the millions to make them, you know? Like, come on, man. It's whack. And like I said, but I want to get, in terms of the commercials again, with the intros, it's to spin it back to New Fairly Odd Parents. Like, I like the thing is, I like the intro for this, for A New Wish. But what bugs me about it is because it's shortened, it's trying to do more to be able to keep some memorability to it. I like that it's a play on the original, sort of a remix. But the thing is, it has too many notations to it. Like there's too many, like it's just or it's too shortened in certain ways. Like it's either shortened in too many ways or has too much length to it in certain places. You know what I mean? Like when we get to the breakdown with Hazel doing the dirtbag rides and pizza fries and stuff, like listing off things like Timmy did. With Timmy, it was a lot more short. It was shorter. It was a lot simpler. Obtuse, Robert Goose, green moose, guava juice. Like it kept it about what 3 syllables or so. Like 3-4 syllables, but with like Hazel, there's a few more syllables she's using, and it kind of becomes a case of it stops being a jingle that can get in your head as the original was. The original was a straight up jingle that's like, no, that's in my head and I can memorize that because in proper rhythm. But this one has a little too much happening that it's like your mind can lose it. I know it might sound crazy. I don't know, Chad. Let me know. Let me know if y'all get what I'm saying, because it's just something that's kind of noticed with the song. It's not even bad. It's just something that's like I feel it could be more, but I digress. I think it's because they wanted Hazel's lyrics to connect to wishes we actually see in the show. You know what? You're right, because that is basically. Yeah, they wanted to have some continuity. They wanted continuity with the intro and the show, and I guess that is a way to distinguish it, to say, oh, these are things you're going to see, which I don't know. That begs the question: if they come back for a season 2, if they remix the intro again to match the wishes of that season, it'd be sick if they do. But understandable if they don't try it, because it's like. The money, like American shows are not like anime where you can keep doing where you can switch out the intros as much as you want. Like, oh, Timmy's wishes nearly Ice Cream Hero says Timmy's wishes nearly destroyed the town on a regular basis, and that is hilarious to watch. Hazel's wishes feel smaller in comparison. I miss the chaotic energy of the original. That is true, but I honestly like the more lower tone of this one. I think if you're gonna make a new one, you don't need to match what the original did. Like if you're doing a new adaptation or so, or in this case a sequel series, I think it's fun. It's fun to like distinguish yourself from what the original was doing, so that way you stand out better. But you also recognize, again, you still capture the spirit of the original, and that's the biggest thing I want to say. Is this show captures the spirit of the original perfectly and improves on so many things about the original. That's something I really enjoyed about this. Like, I did really enjoy Timmy, like, from the original series. I grew up with the original. I saw it when it premiered. But, like, I can recognize Timmy sucked. Like, Timmy was genuinely kind of a jackass of a kid. And you couldn't help but think, man, he could do so much good for everybody if he just wished for some good. For, like, say, for instance, Chester. his poor friend. He genuinely could have just wished for him to have some wealth to help him out. but he but it's just like, oh nah. But and then there's the fact that it's like a lot of his wishes would almost get them killed or get the town destroyed or something like that. It's just like crazy. But it's just one of those things where you see how Hazel is, and her wishes are like sort of believable. Like I can see it. You could see a kid actually doing this or making these type of wishes, or I even like in this one where sometimes it's a case of they Cosmo and Wanda just mess up the wish. Like there's sort of a stipulation that they have to meet, or or a prerequisite for the wish that they have to meet in order for them to accomplish the wish. And I actually like that. It's a way of limiting fairy powers properly versus the rules where they kind of try to address things but also don't address things properly. It's like, I don't know. The way they do the rules here, I like that it splits things up. I like that they decided, let's have certain aspects of magic be handled by these magical figures. You know, they actually expand upon that a little bit the from the original, because we did see something like that with the Tooth Fairy, or even with, say, Cupid. But it always felt like there were more moments where it's like you could have introduced more magical entities to handle these different magical things. You know, I like that they have Father Time to be able to handle like time wishes, just because it's like you need that. you need someone else, a third party on that front, versus just letting the fairies take people back in time. And I do, and that's just I really enjoy that aspect of it, you know. And a lot of the new characters were pretty fun too. I liked Hazel's friend group. You know, I'm blanking on both of their names right now. Chat, remind me of their names if you can, please. Hazel's two friends, especially because of Timmy's secret wish. Yeah, man, that whole secret wish thing was so messed up. I'm like, why would you do that? My God. But I will say, it's like Hazel is such a fun character. It's such a nice character because she's very indicative of just a regular kid, like a genuine average kid. Like even her problem is very average, and it's like, oh, okay, Timmy was kind of, let's be real, Timmy's kind of an extraordinary case, to be honest, because he was being abused. Like, we can't pretend like Timmy was not being abused by Vicky. Okay, like he was having a pretty rough life and had neglectful parents to top it all off. So it's understandable why he was just like I mean, he like the way he was. So, but with Hazel, it's a case of she really is an average kid who just moved from what I think the suburbs to the city or something. Like she just moved to a whole new place, so she has no friends, and her big brother, who she idolized, moved on. I mean, is gone to college, not moved on, like went to college, and you know she doesn't really have him with her, and so she just feels scared, and then eventually runs into Cosmo and Wanda. Like, it's just kind of a nice happenstance verse, you know. I kind of like that a little bit. It kind of also takes away a bit of a predestiny aspect to it, where I don't know, there was, I mean, I won't say the original had Timmy as a predestined godchild so much. I want to say, I mean, with him having Vicky, it was a case of like such an extreme case, but with Hazel, it's just, well, that's the thing though. Now that I think about it, the setup works perfectly here, because at the end of the day with Hazel, she wasn't miserable enough that they no, that's right, Cookie, I'm forgetting Cookie. I was about to make a bad point, but I remember Cookie was originally who she was supposed to be assigned to. But yeah, it's I think it's one of those things where, when are gonna play this without I'll try to just skip around. I think it's one of those things where like it works really well in the vein of um like it. I just like the fact that it's a setup in that Hazel just happens upon Cosmo and Wanda, because or they happen to upon each other, and so it's just a matter of these three find out they just click, man, or more or less Cosmo and Wanda kind of they sort of force themselves a little bit to be her godparents. That's the thing, but it's kind of nice just to see that it's like it's almost like two parents meeting. I mean, find I don't want to say coming across an adoptee or so and really connecting with them. But I don't know. It was in I don't know. It's just I just like that they changed it up from that versus Cosmo and Wanda just got reassigned. It's like no, they retired and then they came out of retirement. It's fun. It's fun to have it like that, honestly. And I think it helps with showcasing the show getting older or maturing, or not really maturing, I should say. It feels like, the show understood, let's just grow things up versus just stopping it in one way. I wonder how Chester is living his life. Is he more successful than his father, or is Chester some homeless dude living out of a dumpster? They gotta show Chester with a successful, like, baseball career. They gotta show him with that or something. Like, that way it's like, oh good, Chester got by fine. They can get Jason Marsden to come back. They really could just get Jason Marsden and come back for it. They got the original AJ from right, so really, just sprinkle the cameos in here and there, kind of like Cora did. Yeah, the cameos were nice. Like, I like that they weren't too overtaking. They didn't feel too much like the old show is just gonna take over everything. If they do get a season 2, I think it would be better to be sparing with all the old show's characters. Don't use Vicky as often as possible. Don't use Crocker as often as possible. Just every now and then they show up, but for the most part, we should be more focused on the type of villains that Hazel's gonna be dealing with. And that's the thing. That's the thing in terms of villains. I like Dev. I do like that they sort of tried to give him a bit of a Zuko arc. it's like when in doubt, try to make a Zuko. Like, and I think that was honestly a nice touch that they were going for continuity with a new wish versus doing something where it's like, oh yeah, let's versus just, oh yeah, he just sucks. Like, Dev just genuinely sucks, and there's no redemption to him. Because I think in this day and age, they do want to, we're now at a point of, okay, we had these brat characters in the past, but a lot of these but we now understand that certain people who might have inspired those characters or so actually have some type of backstory to them, or there is a reason for why they are the way they are, And so it's like, let's actually explore a little bit of that. So we're not just trying to say, oh yeah, all you kids are just assholes, or some of you kids are just little assholes. It's like, well, let's really get down to this. The fact that Dev is a neglected child whose dad just only thinks about the business. It's like, yeah, that's gotta suck. And then his dad is obsessed with another kid in his classroom. Yeah, you can see where the frustration goes. It's like and you see how, and you do see where they go with him getting Fairy and getting Perry and getting the anti-fairy IREP. You get that it's like, yeah, he genuinely just wanted the ability to just be loved by his dad, but he can't. They can't make people fall in love with you. Well, not to say fall in love, but actually they couldn't force people against their will to do things for him, and that's why he wanted the anti-fairies. You see the natural progression of all of his folly, But you also understand his redemption when he realizes, yeah, none of this is really right. Like, all of this is, you're doing all of this because your dad And at the end of the day, it's like you kind of got to take that up with your dad. It's not Hazel's fault. It's not the world's fault. It's your dad's fault. That's what. And it's kind of crazy how they had what was what was his name? The Dema kid. Like they brought him back and gave him a kid. It's crazy to me because I'm just like, wow, that I never thought they would go that route. I never thought we'd see that character again, but they just said, nah, fuck it, bring him back. I'm like, all right, I'm with it. Let's see what. And the fact that he's evil, that it's like, yeah, someone who was just kind of chained up for a good chunk of his life, or maybe not a good chunk, but was chained up and into force and put into forced labor. Yeah, he's not about to turn out great. It's like, what? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the dad's name, but I am blanking on it. But yeah, it's just the fact that they genuinely, it's just genuinely a good show. I like the arc overall, and I could see how Dev got to where he got, see his proper progression, and I like what they committed to with it. Like I like where they were willing to commit, where it went with the finale. Dale Demodome. There we go. Dale Demodome. Yeah, Dale. Thanks, Spin. I'm glad Dev isn't a one-note rich kid. You can see the good in him. Yeah, because that's the thing. Sometimes rich kids are not the worst on purpose. A lot of the time they genuinely don't know better, and it takes the village to actually raise them versus the parents, because the parents are not home. Dale Demodome, son of Doug Demodome, owner of the Dimsdale Demodome. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Doug Dimmadome was actually deceased in the current timeline. He was like in his 50s, 60s in the original series, and his son was around 10 to 13 years old. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to see. Like, they could go that route of, like, Doug died. Always drink water. Okay. I enjoyed Dev a lot. I like that Dale Dimmadome has been clearly traumatized by his time under Vicky and is creating generational trauma for Dev. Yep. I'll tell you, man, like, now the millennials are, like, writing these shows and everything, it's like, we really wanted to unpack generational trauma heavy. It's like, let's figure out why you are the way you are. You know, why is Dennis a menace? That's where millennials are. Like, if you get millennial Dennis the Menace, it's going to explore the neglect of the parents, or how the parents are messing up somehow. That's what I'm calling if you have a millennial write a Dennis the Menace fucking movie. Rich people use that Onigiri, shout out to Onigiri. Rich people use that money to keep themselves alive a long ass time. Doug Dimmadome may actually be alive in Mr. House type situation. Jeez. Oh, also, Chad, I wanted to let y'all know I got some new designs up on the merch store that y'all can check out. I'm not sure. I feel like the stream has the store in it or underneath it in the description, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it might not be there, but you know, would appreciate y'all if y'all could drop a few bucks. They're discounted currently, so they're currently on a discount. So get them while you can for only less than 24 hours by this point. So, but if you can't. But if the merch store isn't on the stream, then just go to the description. The link is there, right under merch. Also, super chats are on. But yeah, this new one, I genuinely think it's like they saw what the original was and they understood there's potential. There's very much potential for this to be more than what it is, and sometimes they would touch upon that, especially like in some of the movies. Like, so it's just like it's one of those things where it's like you wish like it went the original went the Danny Phantom route, you know, where like that would have been nice. There's a tune for thought. Thanks, Onigiri. But yeah, like I think it's just such a. Mm, sorry, Beardo lost my train of thought. I will say the dynamic between these three are so funny. Between Cosmo, Wanda, and Hazel, it's just so much of a case of the screw ups are very much more on both Cosmo and Wanda, and that's what I really love is the fact that Cosmo and Wanda are back to two halves of a whole idiot status. Like I was so glad that was back because I'm like, because the old series had Wanda just be known as the nag after a while, and like I'm like, what are we doing? Like it was just this old style of humor of I hate my wife, that type of shit, and I never understood that. I was like, we're really doing I hate my wife humor. Like that was funny back in like the 50s and shit, like in the old Looney Tunes, but like in this day and age, I don't want to see a husband and a husband and wife like arguing and being nasty to each other. It just feels wrong. You know what I mean? I mean, they would try. I want to say they try to balance it out, but a lot of the time they be kind of wilding. They were kind of wilding, bro. Sometimes, and I just wasn't down with it. Ooh. But hey, man, I'm just glad. I'm just glad that they brought them back to their basics of actually being a loving couple. Like they're actually cute together. They're genuinely silly and fun together. And it's just nice seeing them both screw up every now and then. And it's really nice just seeing Wanda be a goofball. Like she's not just the responsible one. I mean, she can be. And that's the thing. That's the thing. I really like that they're playing on the parent aspect of the godparents. Like both Cosmo and Wanda genuinely try to teach a nice lesson to Hazel. Like helping, like guiding her and everything. And it's like, I missed that. There was a bit of that in the original, but I think this one does it a lot better. You know what I mean? And then I also like the fact that that between all three of them, they can be such chaotic dumbasses. Like they get into such stupid shit. Like I still laugh at that episode where Hazel wish she was her mom's assistant, and they had to fake their way through a business meeting. Like that episode was just so like those all three of them were just so dumb. But you're just having fun with it because of how dumb they are. Like they really I really liked a lot of the character interactions here. This was just such a good show, honestly. And I really also want to praise the animation. This is a gorgeous looking series. Like this is the type of thing that's like, this is what we want to see with 3D animation, actually turning 2D designs into 3D and still allowing for like funny levels of expression. Like there's a lot of good expressions in this show, and it's just hilarious a lot of the time, Like it's just something that I cannot, like I really got to praise this show for. It's just how pretty it looks. Is this at the that's how it goes. It's a bit rating, I guess it helped. But yeah, man, it's just a pretty show. I like the shading that it had. I like the shading effect. I really like this. It's just this nice warm softness to it that just makes it feel welcoming to watch. So, yeah, but I kind of want to put one thing out in the air is I honestly feel Hazel helped fix Cosmo and Wanda's relationship. Like I feel like low-key, like those two were on the verge of divorce with Timmy. Like if you pay attention to how they were acting towards each other by the end of the show, like it feels like they were on the verge of divorce. So like I feel like if they didn't retire, they probably would have split up. So them splitting up and then finding Hazel, it's like it rekindled their love of being godparents. Like straight up, like it had to have. Like just because it's a matter of like Timmy was just that freaking rough. Maybe like don't get me wrong, they probably still love Timmy, but that motherfucker put them through the ringer. Like they almost died multiple times. The fairy secret almost got revealed multiple times because of him. He messed up time. He froze time for 50 years just so he could hold on to them. Like, like seriously, Timmy was fucked up. Like he genuinely almost messed them up as a couple. I genuinely believe that. You might be saying I'm wilding and some shit. You might be thinking I'm crazy, but like, I genuinely think like Timmy almost fucked up their marriage. You say they were trapped in a fishbowl. Exactly. Like, at least with Hazel, it's like, oh yeah, y'all can just pretend to be my neighbors. They get an apartment under Hazel. They get housing, proper housing with Hazel. like, come on, man. They got everything with Hazel, whereas they got screwed over so hard with Timmy. Oh, this little joke right here. But like, I mean it, man. Like this, it genuinely feels like Hazel was the best thing that could happen to them. But hopefully that man Timmy got some therapy later on. They could low-key write a joke like that. Like Timmy says, "Oh yeah, talking to my therapist about this all the time." He had to be real funny. As he mentioned something like, he even talked me out of the believing that I was a fairy for a while." Because if you remember the Drake Bell movies, the third one had Timmy become a fairy. Like he became 10 years old again, like his 10-year-old design again, but now he's a fairy. And keep in mind, he was like, I don't know if he was married to Tootie by that point, but he was with Tootie by that point, and he just said, "Hey, I'm just gonna become a fairy," and that's just a thing now. I'm like, what? It was such a weird thing. Like that third movie was so odd, man. Like Fairly Odd Parents was in a rough patch. It's so crazy. I hope he did end up with Tootie. I know a lot of people are hope for that. I would hope for it too. Some people speculate he got with Trixie, and I'm like, nah. Nah, I didn't even like it in Wishology when they were pushing that. I was like, if this was like season 1, season 2 Trixie, like sure, but we're talking Trixie when she gets mean and nasty and so conceited. I'm like, nah. Oh my god. Really would have been funny if they ever had Trixie and Tootie meet. Because it's like, yeah, they never really had like Tootie address the fact that yes they did. The Valentine episode did that, but even then Tootie I don't think really did anything to Trixie. Trixie is one of my favorite characters in the whole show. Trixie was a fun character, but she became annoying when they did the whole she needs to be told she's pretty thing. I was like, no, man. Ugh. I also want to praise this show's sense of design. I love this texturing when it comes to Hazel's hair. Like I like that it's messy and with this nice detailing of these curls and such. I even like the design, the costume design they did for Wanda, where it's like has way more of a distinguished outfit. The fact that her pants aren't just black, trying to emulate Cosmo or anything. It's like, no, let's genuinely give her an outfit. I will say, like, both. It's funny, like. I am glad they got the original voice actors back for Cosmo and Wanda, and it kind of works here and they work here even though they definitely sound older. Like, they sound much older than they did before, but to be fair, this is Cosmo and Wanda when they are older. So, granted, by not that many years, of course, but still. It's really nice to see them. It's honestly just a great series. I'm so happy that it actually turned out well. Like the fact that they got like a writer for Infinity Train on this, that was insane to me. And then I watch it and it's like, okay, yeah, no, this is written by someone who wrote for Infinity Train. Like it feels it's so much like the DNA is right there. I see it. I feel it. Like, oh my god. Just thank goodness they didn't have Dev go the route of that one dude in season 3. Ooh, or season 2. But no, season 3. That's the one. Timmy needed to leave Trixie alone. He did. He did. So far, this is a good sequel, and always a toss-up with sequel revivals, reboot spins. Yeah, yeah, that's always the thing when it comes to it. It's like reboots can be good if there's genuine love and care for the original material. Like, you can change things up. You can be different, because you need it to stand out, and you don't want to just repeat what's been done before. But it can always go bad if you do it in a way where it's like you clearly ignored what made the original great. Like, you just said, nah, we're just gonna do our own thing. Like, sometimes it could turn out well, but sometimes it turns out ass. Most times it turns out ass, because it's like, y'all really did not understand what made this special. Like, you just did not understand the spirit of this. Dang. Ugh. I chalk it up to like that one DMC with Don't Tay in it. If y'all remember that one. What was it? Y'all remember Don't Tay? It's like the thing is the game, like this game, ultimately it didn't. People hated it for the redesign, but then they played the game and it's like, no, this actually bangs, bro. This is actually good. Like, the game is actually good. It's just the look of it just didn't feel right. And it's like, that's a case of capturing the spirit of the original to a degree. Just not in terms of tone. That's the only thing where it's like, yeah, tone-wise, this is a bit off. But, Nate. Nate. And Chester was all covered in bumps. Story and dialogue was garbage. Yeah, but the gameplay, it's like they understood the spirit of the combat, and it's like you got to do something in that. You got to be able to understand the spirit of what made something great before you can try to adapt it. And too many times it's just I don't know, they just forget it. I don't know why. Like Ben 10 reboots, just the more cartoonish art style was pretty okay. Yeah. Let's see. One of my favorite episodes is when Timmy wished he had no emotions. I do not. How do you feel? I do not. Just went. Then Trixie dated Chester out of spite. Then Chester said, "No girls, give me the hives." Yeah, that was such a weird episode, man. I remember that. I think it was the one episode. Wasn't it like they got him out of it? No, there was another thing where Timmy sort of like was doom and gloom for a while. It was sort of later seasons, but they did some weird gross shit where like a girl that Timmy liked, Cosmo pretended to be, and to get him out of his funk, they had Cosmo dressed up as that girl, like asked Timmy for a kiss, and Timmy just did it. And then when he found out it was Cosmo, he freaked out. But at the end of the day, it's like, why did you have Cosmo kiss Timmy against his will? Like, what are we doing here? Holy shit! Like, oh my god! It's like the old show was so fucking weird, man. Oh. Finding Emo is the episode you were talking about. That's one of my faves. Finding Emo. What the fuck did they call it? That Finding Emo. God damn it, Elmer. Freaking Butch Hartman. Oy. Finding Emo. Yeah, AJ's new design is pretty cool. AJ's design is such a weird thing because it's like he's like he looks like a refrigerator. Like he's just like his head is so small compared to his body. Like, look at him. Look at him, man. Look at his head. Like, look at it. Look at how they got this, man. He is built like a fridge. Like, and this nigga, holy shit. Look at this nigga, bro. Oh my god. Like, I don't know, the way they were designing black folk in this episode, it's like, it's very commendable. Like, it's not bad by no means, but it's like, damn. It's like, we are not gonna be caught lacking, okay? Like, they straight up said it. It's like, we're not gonna be caught lacking in this, okay? You're not getting us on this. Oh man. But yeah, I genuinely enjoy what this show was doing, and I really am glad it turned out as great as it did. Like, it could have genuinely fallen to the wayside. It could have just been every type of wrong. It could have just been a pop culture machine of just like, oh, here's this thing, this current event thing, and all that. And it's like, ugh. Like, I'm glad it turned out as great as it did. Hazel is a great character. Cosmo and Wanda are finally at peak. They're finally back to where we needed them to be. Like an actual loving couple that's just goofy and silly. And they both share responsibility and also can make boneheaded decisions. Like, ugh. Thank you, man. I'm just genuinely tired of the I hate my wife trope. It's like like, come on guys. Let's just like show a loving couple. Just please, you can do that. It's okay. Fuck whoever tells you no, that's unrealistic. Go to therapy. Take your ass to therapy if that's unrealistic to you, okay? Because that's not good. That's not a good thing that you think that's unrealistic. Jeez. Oi. But now with all that said, I think we can hop into Cape Crusader. Also, if y'all want to throw any topics my way, y'all can. Don't worry. I mean, I'm willing to grasp anything. Let me talk about anything. I don't know why I said grass. Let's see. Get a trailer. Yeah. That does not need to be playing. No. Where are you, Batman? It's a silhouette of Batman. Come on, Batman. That's something. Cape Crusader. This was definitely something I was aware of, but I genuinely was like, didn't think much about it. I was like, oh, cool, new Batman series. You know, we got plenty of good Batman series. They're fun. They're great. They don't really miss when it comes to Batman. So I kind of had the expectation it's going to be, at the very least, good. Like, decent. Let me say that. At the very least, it'll be decent. Because, you know, I really love the animated series. I got the whole box set even. It's great. It's a great series. Like, it's like, that's the type of thing where you get pure unadulterated Batman. But you have, what was it? Brave and the Bold is a genuinely fun series. I actually liked it. It was like, I didn't keep up with it fully, but it was just nice seeing. It was just a nice episodic series where Batman just teams up with different assortment of heroes, and you're just seeing the awesomeness unravel. It's just cool. It's a fun show. So but the thing is with Cape Crusader, this is the original team from. Batman Beyond. That was a good show. I didn't keep up with it as much, but I definitely watched it here and there. It was still good though, really good. But with Cape Crusader, it's made by the same people who did Batman the Animated Series, or more or less it's Bruce Timm coming back, and Paul Dini's also back here too, right? Making a new one. And the thing is, I think this is great. I think it's a great show because it actually kind of because they weren't trying to just do the same thing. You know what I mean? They weren't trying to just recreate the animated series or anything. They said, let's actually get into let's do something unique from what we did before. Let's try to be different significantly and make a name for itself that way. But while pushing beyond what the original could do, you know? The original still was a kid series, so it's like, yeah, we can't really show people dying like that. This one's like, no, you're going to see people die. You're going to see this detective actually solve murders, you know. And I'm like, that's a lot of what we want to see. I'm glad we get to see a lot of Bruce being a detective in this, and it's interesting to watch because this is definitely year one Batman. I mean, you see the longer years here, and so it's a case of you do have to remember this is a Batman who is early on. He's not at his peak. He's at a point of given up his humanity. So now we have to actually deal with him at learning to grow properly. I was a little contentious about Batman constantly calling Alfred Pennyworth, just calling him by his last name, but I had to remember it's like year one. He's supposed to learn. He's supposed to become better. That's the whole deal. I think with this one, it's pretty good on that front where it's like he genuinely does have to learn to become a better person here and there. Not fully. They don't dive too deep into him trying to learn to be better, but they just kind of get to a few bits and pieces that's like, okay, there's some groundwork here. And thankfully there's a season. My bad. Sorry. Thankfully there is a season 2 on the way. So there's that. That's the good news. I mean, that's the good thing that I'm hoping they touch upon more, like really playing up Bruce, because I'll be like Bruce in this, the way they have just when he's not Batman, hey, I'll get to that. What do I think? What did I think of the voice actor? I'll get to that. But Bruce here, I liked in that he definitely feels socially awkward. Like he genuinely just cannot fathom emotions and sympathy, right? Like when he was talking to Harvey after the incident and everything, it's like, wow, you really don't know how to talk to this guy. Talk to your friend. He's like, hey, let's go on a night on the town. He does not need to be out on the town right now, dude. Like, my God. He is grieving. But that's kind of the big point, is that because Bruce didn't really have a mother or father to help teach him anything about like empathy or sympathy or anything, he doesn't understand how to handle a grieving person or someone who's clearly just like down. Like, so it's really going to be interesting on season 2 if they really touch upon that and really play up the fact that it's like things could have gone a bit differently if you weren't going about it the way you've been going, So I do say I like the rogues gallery in this. It's a show that's definitely has an overarching narrative to it, but it's episodic in a sense, which I think works pretty well for it. The fact that it's like you definitely can get a lot out of this being sort of episodic but still somewhat connecting back to the main story they're telling. I think that is I think that's an interesting way to do it, and I really wish this show was dropping weekly. It would have been a perfect weekly series. I think it could have actually worked that way. Like, that's just kind of the thing. Like, a lot of shows end up having, like, shows can't get properly hyped anymore because they're constantly all being dumped right away, and no one can like really grow start talking about it that much. Everyone has to watch it a certain way or watch it all at once, and not everyone does that. And so it's like, I can't talk about it too much. Like, that's why I'm not trying to spoil too many things that happen here, other than like basic Batman stuff that you already know happens. But it's just annoying. But yeah. The voice actor, I think he was good. I think the voice actor was pretty good, but there were moments where he strains and it's noticeable, or he plays. It's one of those things where it's like he's clearly doing the voice at a time where it feels inappropriate in certain ways. It's like there's times where it probably could have been just the regular Bruce voice here versus his like Batman voice, because they try to make it more a very distinguishable voice in this, which, man, it's really showing how Kevin Conroy, like, rest in peace to him, he really understood how to do a Batman slash Bruce voice and making them sound distinguished or distinct. But what the actor is doing here is still pretty good. Like, I think he genuinely is holding it down well. Like, it's just, there's some moments he just needs to get a little better at, you know? Let's see. I guess I really like what the series did for Harley Quinn. Yes, Harley Quinn. I gotta say, amazing. I was not. I liked Harley in the original series. You know, the one where she came from, the anime. But like, I was always a case of, you are still the side character. You know, you are still the character who does things because of the Joker. You know, you're the Joker's right hand girl, basically. And that's why even when them hyping up Harley and other things, it's like, I end up liking her when they do give her own stuff, when they break her away from Joker, you know. So I did really enjoy the Harley series. I didn't finish it. I think I watched up to season 2, a bit of season 3 maybe, but like with Harley in this series, like, she was. I really like the fact that, like, yeah, I really like the fact that she still becomes Harley Quinn without without Joker, all based on corruption in the city of Gotham. Like, it's like, yeah, even if she never went to Arkham and didn't meet Joker, she still would have became corrupt somehow. But there's the twist of how she becomes corrupt, and that, like, her whole thing is she's more against evil, the rich. Like, she's hurting, like, a bunch of rich people by being a therapist, getting their dirt, and then like capturing them and enslaving them. And it's like, it's pretty twisted, because she's just basically treating them as toys or dolls and such, and making them hurt each other. It's twisted, bro. And she's played so seriously too. Like, she's not. It's like a big spin, where it's a nice spin. Honestly, I like where when she's out of costume, she's a bit more energetic and hyper, but when she's in costume, she's way more precise and focused, and, well, like, a bit more like quiet and cold. That's what I should say. Like, she's just cold and just dark. It's like, it's like, oof, this is the Harley you don't want to fuck with. Like, do not fuck with this Harley, okay? It's not, But yeah, I think they did a great job with this Harley, and it's honestly the more interesting Harley Quinn to me. It's like, I kind of want to see what this one's story is. You know, I did like that there is something in her episode I do like, because they I think it would be a spoiler, but they give her a sort of romance, and I think it's a nice one because it adds a bit of a tragedy to it. It's like, oh, dang. But I do want to mention the fact that the setting, with them putting this in like the 1940s, it was like 1950s, 1940s or so. Like, I want to say it's like, it's not bad, but it's definitely it's like, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's one of those things of, think about who they have Black Jim Gordon as the police commissioner in the 1950s. No way in hell. Like, no. They're kind of trying to play it up like, look, this is just a world where racism doesn't exist, okay? just go with it. It really just said, look, just ignore just we're just gonna pretend like racism doesn't exist in this one. Okay, this is a 1950s that where people of color and black people can roam around free just fine without too much problems. I'm like, nah, man. But it's like it's what you gotta do if you want to tell certain stories. Also, utilizing the character of Harley being a therapist was a great move in my opinion. Yeah, I did really like that aspect. Is that she was a therapist who just ends up meeting certain people, and it's like a lot of those clients just suck and genuinely push her to do evil. I'm like, yeah, that checks out. That sounds about right. It's like, yeah, I'm stuck talking to these horrible people who just have no level of empathy, and they just drive me insane, man. Like, oy. I mean, everything you can suspend belief. I'm okay suspending my belief that this world ain't terribly racist. Yeah, you really. That's what it has to be. Like, you have to suspend your disbelief on that. But, yeah. I think it's a nice touch with it being being like in the 1950s. Because now it kind of adds a bit of a better level of ingenuity to what they can get done. It's not so easy as like, oh, I built this giant technological death ray or some shit like that. They just pull out some random technological thing and it does all the stuff. It's like, oh no, we're set in this time period, so this is all you really can work with. You know what I mean? And it also works well with Batman because now he kind of has to use more of we're seeing him just use more of the shadows as he's supposed to fight. You know, he's sneaking as much as we're supposed to get, and he's using like the smaller weapons, like his disarming weapons and everything. He just kidnapped that man. Just took him. Just completely took him. My God. But yeah, this is genuinely a lot better. I mean, I just like how this is done a lot with this limiting of him and everybody else. I feel like it would have been interested to see them explore racism a bit. I mean, they could. You gotta get a black writer on it. You have to get a black writer on it to write that episode properly, because it could go so wrong, man. Buy a sea of bad clients before deciding, fuck it, I'm doing unethical stuff, rather than just having the Joker manipulate and gaslight her into loving him. Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest thing. I really do like the fact that this Harley becomes who she is on her own. It's on her own terms versus just, well, the original technically was, her original inspiration was also technically on her own terms, but I still like it. I will say, people who, like, are shitting on the design can fuck off. Like, they can fuck off. This is a cool and unique design. I've seen people trying to pass around like a redesign where they change the color scheme back to red, and it's just like, you guys just, like, y'all live in the past too damn much. Like, y'all can't try anything new. Get it together, bruh. But yeah, this is a good design. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Rogues Gallery they did bring in. But I will say one of these guys, this guy, don't get hyped for him. I watched all 10 episodes and I don't even know what this fucker's name is. Like, I will just say, this is the one bad guy they really didn't do anything with. Like, he seemed unique, but nothing happens with him. It's like they tried to set him up, but I don't know. That was kind of a question mark of like, okay, I know you wanted to be different, but that was a little too different to the point of I don't even know who or what that was. This weird guy. I don't know. Oy. But Batman Caped Crusader. It's just one of those things. I really did enjoy how they did Harvey too. Like the fact that he was more, they made him more of a sleaze bag, which was definitely different versus him already starting out as the good guy who becomes corrupted. it's one of those things of like you don't want to just do the same thing over again. They actually start with he's kind of a sleaze bag who can get pushed to that degree. But I will say if this show could have used more episodes. It could have used more episodes because it's only 10 episodes, and I think they probably wanted to explore a little more with Harvey, but it's like, well, what can you do? You only got 10 episodes to tell a story, and Batman has a big rogues gallery, and you want to establish a lot. So, design wise, I don't know. Like, I think the disfigurement looks legit messed up. It's like crooked ass teeth and everything. But a part of me feels like it's like it needs a little more. Like, I don't know. Maybe it needs a better sense of scarring, or maybe just more scars here and there, or distinguishable scars or black marks, something to really push it. Like, I don't know, because this semi feels like, yeah, somewhat of a skim graft might be able to fix this, or at least like not be so keep it from being too monstrous. I just think, I don't know, but I think Harvey's story was done really well, and I enjoy where they took it. It's a really good. It's ultimately, I've seen some people have contention with it in that they think it's just not living up to the animated series. I don't think it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to have somewhat of the feel, a little bit of the feel of the animated series, but it's not supposed to be the animated series. Sabretooth Kitten says, it's sad. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, it was a nice change that Harvey went from being a dick already instead of Angel DA, prosecutor to villain struggling with split personalities. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of the Penguin? Oh, I think that's also... The Penguin is a case of, like, came in early, but they didn't do much with. Like, you got female Penguin, right? It's like, okay, that's supposed to be something interesting, but then they don't do much with her. Did she shows up in this trailer, right? Come on. Try to... And then, come on. I guess it's the best I can get. What, did they try to save her to reveal her? I guess. Stupid, weird, whatever. But Penguin feels underutilized. Like, they established she's not someone to be fucked with, but at the same time, there's not a lot explored about her. She kind of just comes and goes and gets taken out pretty fast, and it's like, this is the Penguin we're talking about. The Penguin is supposed to be like too difficult. Is supposed to be a bit way more difficult to like take down than this. I mean, I don't know. It like I like that they gave her sons, and she's just so rotten, obviously, with them. So it's interesting to watch, but it feels like it just needed more time to cook. Like I needed to see more of her like villainy versus what we got. It's just one of those things where it's like, and they could have played more into the penguin-y is like she kind of was like tall, which I mean the penguin can be, but he's still supposed to be like penguin-like. Here, I don't know. A lot of the details kind of got lost. I felt. Where are we going? Trying to find Barbara because I think that's the last thing. Black Barbara. I like that. I do like that they do have her like as a lawyer trying to help people in little ways. It's gonna be interesting to see where they go with it. Like, there's genuinely some cool moments that she's mostly just she's just the little guy trying to fight the big fights, and she's just she's not a prosecutor, what, a defense attorney who's just getting a rough bout every time and either getting bad clients who actually are guilty, or it's like getting disrespected by everybody because it's like, oh my god, you're defending criminals, and it's like, you know, it sucks, but that's how it goes. Uh, but I think I liked a lot of I did like what they were doing with her. I do want to see where they go with it because it's like I don't know, they could go Oracle route or she becomes Batgirl, maybe, I don't know. There wasn't a there were definitely some notable episodes that I don't want to spoil, but there's definitely a character who reminded me of Wednesday Addams, named Natalia, if I'm right. Like when you see her, you'll be like, "That Wednesday." But that was a good episode. It gave a bit of a spotlight to a Robin that I think could use a more spotlight. Was I think her name is Carrie Kelly. That's the female Robin, the first female Robin, I think. But and it was like, oh, if they actually go somewhere with that, that'd be cool. But I don't know. It depends on this show and where it goes, and if it lasts long enough. I don't know. But we'll have to see. But with the way things are, I mean, we got at least got a season 2, and maybe Prime will adopt it better and put it on a weekly schedule and not burn it off. That's my thing. It's like, just put it on a weekly schedule, please. This needs to be seen weekly, not like, oi, this should have gotten the X-Men 97 treatment, okay? Like, it should have very much been a weekly drop. Oi. Was only female Robin today. Oh, I thought Stephanie Brown was the only female Robin today. Yeah, it's Carrie Kelly if I'm certain. Let me be sure. That ain't it. Or is it Karen Kelly? Carrie Kelly. Yeah, Carrie Kelly. Oh, okay, just the wrong Carrie Kelly. Yeah, this one. The Robin of the Future. I'm glad. Yeah, she gets like a nice little moment in an episode. She's actually pretty cool, and it's like, I want to see this character again. Come, like if you can use this character again, please. Like she was fun. Get her back. Yeah, Carrie Kelly. I think she's kind of underused. She doesn't get used a lot because she's the Robin that kind of shows up near the end for Batman when he's like old, like about to fight Superman, when he's fighting Superman, you know. By that point it's like, the thing is, if I'm right, she made it to the animated series at some point as like a what if scenario episode, but I could be wrong. I don't know, chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think she made it to I think she was in there. This might have been it. No, this is the Dark Knight Returns. Never mind. Yeah, they were just showcasing the Dark Knight Returns in the animated series, and I think she showed up in that one. I think. What villains do you want to see in season 2? Scarecrow is a definite. I want to see. Definitely want to see him and see how they can play him off. I want them to really get free, like get crazy. I want them to give him a weird design, something. Maybe it may not something as strong as what they had in season 4 of the animated series, because he looks so fucking cool in that one. Like, what was season 4? Season 4 Scarecrow. Look at this motherfucker, dude. This thing looks sick. Like the noose around his neck. Holy shit. And this is what he transformed like originally. Like they genuinely couldn't tap in on the design until but when they got to the 4th season properly, they got it perfect. And this is forever the coolest design of Scarecrow to me. I don't think they can beat him. I don't think they can beat this because it looks so sick, dude. Like, god damn. So jacked up, like you can't tell how his face is exactly because the shadows can just distort it that much. Like, jeez, look at this dude. Like, that is a Scarecrow. Like fucking hell. Like if they bring him back, give him something like that or something close. You know, even if you have to reuse it or some shit, I don't care. I'll take it. Like I'll still take it if you reuse it. Oh man, Toy Man. Hmm. I keep seeing multiple versions of Toy Man, and I never can pinpoint exactly how he's supposed to be. I never really read the comics, so I don't know exactly how Toy Man's supposed to be. Like I remember Toy Man in Superman Doomsday when he had like the spider, but I don't think that's properly reminiscent of him. But I don't know. Toy Man. Not too sure. What other villains? Free. Would I want to see Mr. Freeze? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. If they do a unique enough spin for Mr. Freeze, I would kind of want to see that. But that's just that's kind of reusing villains, isn't it? I'm trying to think of what type of villains would I want to see. If they could bring Baby Doll back, that'd be interesting. I mean, they have the Hollywood scene. They could reuse her somehow. That would be cool if they actually bring back Baby Doll. Cause like, yeah, she hasn't really appeared in like anything, and she's definitely made an impact of some sort. Like people remember, it's like, oh yeah, Baby Doll. I mean, they don't. I don't think they used her in the comics. But yeah, so weird seeing this on Prime, but you all know what happened. Bane. Yeah, Bane would be cool. Yeah, Bane would be cool. They also play up his mob boss aspect. Maybe make him a proper boss like the Dark Knight couldn't, or Dark Knight Returns couldn't do. Oh man, that it's like they really just sweep the legs right from under us with the Dark Knight Return. With like, because Bane, it's like he was cool for a bit, but then you find out, oh yeah, he's just a glorified henchman to Ra's al Ghul. I'm like, mother. It's like stop putting in multiple villains into these movies. Just pick a villain and stick to them. You can you can somewhat do a whole, you have two villains, but maybe one of them is not really that hard of a villain or doesn't really care about the main plot and stuff or anything, and it's more just like, it's like, okay, I'm going to fight you guys, but then maybe something happens that they switch. That's giving away. That's my type of plot that I'd want to see, and that's not fair. But it's like, do something. I love to see Killer Croc for no other reason. He's one of my favorite Batman villains. Yeah, Croc is always cool, but he's always just kind of a brute. I've always seen him just as a brute, you know? Like, even when he was paired up with Baby Doll, it's like, okay, there's something. It's like, they had some. That might be it. If they do Croc and Baby Doll again. You know, because it's like, that was funny, but if they played it up differently. Like, because it's like, this could have been a funny duo if they didn't have it so it's like, oh yeah, Baby Doll just became annoying. I don't know. They really wanted her to start acting like a kid. It was weird. Like when on her second appearance in the animated series, they decided, oh yeah, she's just gonna start acting like a kid for some reason. We don't know why. She just does. Like, I mean, well, that was her gimmick when she was baby doll in the first one, so it makes sense, I guess. But it reminds me of an animation by Doobies Goobies of classic Bane being way cooler than Dark Knight Returns Bane. Yeah, Dark Knight Returns Bane was just a bitch, and he got bitched so easily. Like, then it was like, oh yeah, he was under Talia al Ghul, so it's like, oh come on, man. It's like, it's not Ra's al Ghul, it's Talia, the daughter that Ra's al Ghul had. I'm like, oh, just go somewhere, man. Get off the train. Like you going nowhere. Just get off the train, bro. Jeez. But yeah, I think Bane could be interesting if they really introduce him as a major uprising gang, like another uprising gang aspect to it, you know. But yeah, Batman Cape Crusader, just genuinely a good show. I actually think, I really hope it goes far. I hope a lot of people gravitate to it, enjoy it. I know there's some contention here and there, but that it's a superhero property. You know, as D'Angelo's told me, it's like there's never going to be like perfect peace between new superhero properties. People are always going to be here for it or against it. Doesn't matter. So, but I think it's genuinely a great show, and I think it's something that genuinely sets itself apart from other Batman adaptations. And I think ultimately it's just one of those things. I think it's a fun watch, and you should definitely check it out. And I think the same thing for Fairly Odd Parents and New Wish. Both absolutely fantastic series that I think just are doing things a lot differently and changing things up enough while understanding the spirit of what came before and being able to even push some boundaries when it comes to what came before. You know, I'm excited to see, hopefully, that these both prosper well and we could see a lot more from them. But yeah, with that being said, I think it's time we sign off. I want to thank you all for watching and joining me and listening to my thoughts and rambles about Fairly Odd Parents. I'm glad y'all shared yours. I'm always happy to hear like what y'all think of the show and everything. Remember to check the Stream of Thoughts channel if you want to be able to keep up. If you want to watch this stream back, I'll upload an abbreviated highlight reel on the main channel soon, talking about everything. Also, remember, merch is currently discounted. Y'all can go buy that in the description box below, or I can give you a link real quick. Actually, can I? Yes, I can, but let me get you that link. Yeah. Where's the paste? Come on. Here you go. Never mind. It's just YouTube redirected me. Never mind. But check the description. You can check the description and be able to go to buy any merch. I do appreciate y'all joining me for this, and glad y'all are sticking by me as we move in more towards streaming and in this new era with YouTube. So thank you all for joining me, and always remember, it's just a thought.